I need to lower some stuff so I can be heard. I'll see that one. Did I finally fix it? Yes, finally. There we go. I've been trying to play this game for a couple of days now, and I finally figured out what my issue was. I had it too high on the graphics. The game wasn't keeping up with how it needed to be streamed, so I have finally fixed it, thank God. Alright. Hello everybody, my name is Sergeant Killjoy, but you guys can all call me Sarge. And today we are going to be playing What Remains of Edith Finch. I'm glad I finally fixed this because I really liked playing this game the first time I played it. It was pretty fun. So let's get into it.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
I'm glad this is finally going through. I got so mad when I couldn't stream this.
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
This game is really weird, but that's the one reason I love this. It's a mini house.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately. I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral. In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked.
This game is basically one big story, so I'm probably not going to be talking as much so you guys can hear it.
Enough to bring me back.
I will still be talking though.
No one had driven this way in a long time, but I saw a few hoof prints.
It's a big guy.
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to. The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
One moment. Somebody's talking in the chat. Thank you for the advice. I'll definitely have to look into that when I get the chance. Thank you. Alright. Let's get back to the game. I just have... Hold on. I know everything's pretty loud, so we're gonna dial down this a little bit. Alrighty, there we go. I always thought this house was really cool.
As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words.
Loading. No! Do I need to go lower? I do. Alright, hold on. Alright, is that better? I'm waiting for it to load so I can see. One moment. Sorry guys, I'm trying to fix this visual going on because I don't want you guys to sit here and watch pixels the entire time. It's a little slow, but you can still see.
Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
This house is cool, though. I know she's afraid of it because of the past, but it's a cool house.
I hoped the key might unlock the front door. It didn't. Looking in, I felt like the house itself had been waiting for me.
I remember the first time I played this, I
Crawling
struggled
through the
for a
doggy
while,
door
not
used to be a
realizing
lot
I had a
easier
side
when I was
door.
11.
I remember struggling with it, looking for that door specifically for a while.
The power had been turned off the night we left. For the first time in years, I felt like I was home. But instead of a family, there were just memories of one. Like how only one restaurant would deliver to our house, so we had Chinese a lot. Or how after Louis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly. The table was still a wreck from the night we left. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture.
I don't actually remember why they had left.
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home. Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth. Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank. Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit. Great-Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house. My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive. Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
That's just the kitchen.
After Milton disappeared,
Sorry.
Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes. My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin. As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
I didn't mean to back away from it.
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
I keep backing away from the doors on accident because I keep hitting the joystick.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up.
Hold on, I want to look at this door first before I go unlocking books.
Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947. Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him. Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets. Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of. From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me. Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan. But I had no idea what was behind that door.
Molly's room.
Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead. I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole. Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
It's a map of the house.
I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here, before my mom sealed the doors.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat. The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it. Mom, can I come out now?
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
My Halloween candy was all gone.
See, I have brightness all the way up. If it wasn't, I would be blind in here.
I kept eating and eating.
Child's eaten toothpaste and gerbil food.
I ate a lot of things that night. Then I heard chirping outside my window.
Just as a heads up, these stories get a little weird. So, there's your warning.
It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat. I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
Like I said, these stories get kind of weird.
I jumped and I almost got her.
I forgot how to jump up. Hold on. Ah! Hold on a sec. Try to jump on the bar. Give me a sec. How do I get up there? Why am I not making it up there? Hold on. There we go.
I could tell she was getting really tired.
I misjumped. Hold on. I always argue with this part.
Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird.
Alright, she's over there. Okay, hold on a sec.
I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass. Rabbits. I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger. A mama rabbit. She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
Like I said, this game gets weird.
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever. I wanted fat, juicy seals. I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
I don't see where she went. Hold on. Give me a sec, guys.
I grabbed on tight, but I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed. Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere.
I always thought it's cool how many different perspectives you see on
I
this
was
game.
big, but I moved real quiet. I wanted to stop, but also I didn't.
That's a great question, because you sound drunk. I can't get him through there. It's a wall. Can I go through here? There we go.
After the last passenger, I was still hungry. And across the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it.
Alright, let's go.
I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
Glad I know how to pull myself up. Wait a minute. I came through that old pipe so easily. How did, I thought she's on the second floor.
I got closer and closer.
Ollie's room looks a mess. And not like a little kid mess, like some stuff had been thrown. No, maybe it's just a little kid mess.
All of my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
Said these stories get a little weird.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
Yeah. Ocean charts. There's the kitty.
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past.
Hold on, game froze.
Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly. I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room. When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't.
Yeah. I'm starting to like Edie.
Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious. I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time. One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity.
No kidding. Oh dang, I can't play any of them. Built 1937 by Sven Finch. Look at that.
Even in her
Can I look at-
90s.
Yes, I can.
Sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother. The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife, Kay, left on the house was the pink bathroom.
Yeah.
It was a pretty big trace.
Not kidding. Alright, we got another locked door, which probably means another entrance. So let's finish snooping through here.
Louis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him.
So everybody's handprints. Molly, Barbara, Calvin, Sam, Walter, Don, Gus, Gregory, Louis, Milton, and Edith. That's me.
Her room was like a museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune. And misfortune.
I put it down by accident. There was more than that. Sorry, I scrolled the wrong way.
Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan. On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery.
There's the house being built in the background.
His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
Alright, we can leave that now. We're done.
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
Yeah. It's a gnome. Ah, he wrote a book. Odin Finch. The Mysteries of Death and Thereafter. Alrighty, I can walk around now. There's a secret in the bathroom. That's not obvious.
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
So my question is, how did she find out about all of these?
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
Milton. That's the broder. And you can see the more grown up side of the room and the kids' side of the room.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin. And that he never talked about him.
1961.
I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
Calvin.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it. My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom. And he did.
I got used both joysticks, okay.
At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day,
That's the grandma.
he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that.
Calvin! I'm not gonna tell you again!
Or maybe if the wind hadn't picked up. Then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind.
I think he did too.
That's what I want to remember about my brother. The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
Alright. 1 second, I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm back.
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room.
There's nothing. There's no
Mom
birds
said
there
Grandpa
for me
Sam
on that
enlisted
one.
at 18 and never set foot in the room again. passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
I like how they did
Growing
this
up,
next story. It's pretty
I
cool.
always thought of Barbara as a child star. I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards. Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was canceled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent. She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
Of course, the fridge looks weird.
And grew still.
Oh dear! Yes, I get to whack somebody.
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and you...
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still
Nope.
holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
I keep thinking that background music they're playing for this scene is outside of the game, because I have a ringtone almost exactly like that. Walter, are you there?
Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
That night, she played her part beautifully. Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned.
Timber.
He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet.
The guy just crashed into a glass table. I don't, from the second floor. I don't know if that's gonna go very well for him.
The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was... At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter, hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box was all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Oh Lord, the puns.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
Back through the hole.
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box. Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara. Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left.
Looks like we gotta find another key. Let's see if it works. There we go, wrong joystick. And there it is.
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
Yeah, I don't blame her.
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages. I thought maybe she was hiding presents. It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that. I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could.
I think that was a lie.
If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years. On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a
Every
routine.
time it shakes.
That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule.
Every time.
Living for today.
I keep talking when he
I
goes
always
to talk
expected
by
to be dead
accident.
tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything.
Every time the entire game shakes, my remote shakes very violently and it's loud.
Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly. And then one day, everything just stopped. Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid. It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave while I still can. I know it's out there somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara, and Molly and Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me.
I would hate that, being stuck in the basement for 30 years.
Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left. Or a month. Or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
And then he got hit by a train. Dang, he thought he was getting out of there.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here. I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me.
We're gonna go the same way he did, 'cause why not? Alright, so I just looked down and I realized either she's pregnant or she's just got a bit. This game is not doing her justice on looking
Maybe
down.
she was afraid I'd end up like Walter.
But
if
I
she
don't
never
mean
told
that
me
in a
about
mean
an
way.
uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding. I don't want to make the same mistakes she made.
Oh, maybe that's what she meant by smaller bellies.
Trying to bury something that's
And
still
she's
alive.
talking to somebody. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of the game. I'm gonna make a theory real quick. I think she's writing this book because she's about to have a kid. That's my theory.
Now that there's only one of us
I-
left. Or maybe 2.
See?
I thought it was time I heard
She's
the
saying
stories
some
for
stuff.
myself. And found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
Just where Walter died. He got hit by the train.
I don't know if I should even be writing this.
Anybody else concerned about the trees, or the chairs in the trees?
Maybe
Or
it'd
is
be
it
better
just
if all
me?
this just died with me. But I thought you should know about your family.
Yep, I was right.
And the history you're a part of. Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now. I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth. And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible.
Hold on. I'm forgetting something. Yes, I forgot the graveyard. Hold on. Oh no, I gotta go around. Okay, never mind. I didn't forget anything. Thinks I can't go that way. Or that way.
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it.
That
What kind of family
sucks.
finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
True.
It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils were mine, and 2 had been my fault.
Lucy, Daisy, Charlie, Tucker, Coco, Zoe, Zerpy, Lurpy, Furpy, Chirpy, Burpy, Derpy, Derpy Jr. Oh, wait, there's more. Bob, Christopher, Shadow. I'm not even gonna try that one because I feel like I'm gonna mess it up. And Oliver. And there's a frog and Bailey. Can I see him? I can't see him right now.
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
Molly. December 11th, 1937 to December 13th, 1947. I'm not gonna read all these because there's actually a lot of graves in here. Barbara, Walter, Edie, Sven, Calvin. So these are the great-grandparents. The grandparents.
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was
The
always
great-
trying to move
great.
on, but for Edie, the past never went away.
The great-great.
She could
Yeah,
see
there's
it
the house.
poking out of the water at low tide. Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night.
That's the old house.
Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. Her dad had been
Gregory,
pretty strict,
Sam,
but it
and
wasn't enough
Gus.
to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better. She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us.
Louis, Sanjay, and Milton. Wonder if that's her dad, is this one.
There's so many things I
Dang,
wish I
she's
could ask
lost
my
every-
mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself.
I think I'm gonna go a little bit longer on this stream due to the next time I'm gonna be streaming is probably gonna be Saturday. And Saturday is my birthday stream. So for those of you who do want to watch on the 10th, I'm gonna be starting around 10 Central Time. And I will be streaming with my birthday on my birthday with a couple of friends and family members and stuff. So if you guys want
But
to come
looking
join
back
that, it's
on
gonna
it
be a lot
now-
of fun.
If she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
I knew it! I told you guys she was pregnant.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common.
We definitely chilled out here a lot. Oh, we're on the 3rd floor. It was
They were
locked
both
earlier.
pretty intense.
He was a hunter.
Sam
Let's
spent his
sleep around
life
the room
shooting
and then we'll read
photos,
his
but
story.
Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera, I guess we're all afraid of something.
Medals and stuff. Oh yeah, this was the one that joined the army. He had the twin.
Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
Maybe that's why he lived so long. There's a lot of tickets and stuff. Alright, let's go to the story.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Hmm?
That's his kid.
Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly encouraged. Not quite.
What?
Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? Please just take the damn picture.
Hey, language.
I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take
So
some pictures,
I'm gonna have to make
okay?
sure to look around.
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
Aw. You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
I'm just kind of looking around right now.
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
Hold still while I take a picture of you.
I definitely won't be moving.
Are you done yet?
Hey!
That's a keeper.
Nothing quite like being
I just had a
outside.
feeling that, yeah, that was
I'm
the
just
one.
saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Dawn. You'll need to remember this stuff if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Dawn, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years. Last time I was with my brother Calvin. Man, that was a great trip. Dawn, don't you think you could find something more interesting to photograph? Your grandpa Sven taught us how to fish, how to build a fire. We found an old logging trail. There were deer everywhere. I bet if I could remember where that trail was, we'd spot a buck for you in no time. Give me a minute to check the map.
There's something specific I'm looking for.
Dad!
Good eyes, Dawn.
There it is.
Before
There's
you take the
the
shot, let me
buck.
get a picture of you.
Where is she?
Dad, I...
Just breathe. Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Dawn, you don't have to do it. Great shot, Dawn!
And you got a picture of it.
I'm proud of you, Dawn. Always remember that, okay?
Oh, there's a timer going on.
Sorry, Dawn, just gotta reset the timer.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally
so...
normal, Dawn. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about—
Dad!
Well.
Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
That sucks.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Now come on, open. Gregory. Oh, I hate that story. Alright, let's get it over with. This one's the saddest.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it.
Hold on, sweetie.
Hello?
I hate this one. This one makes me sad.
Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn I don't want Gregory to hear this.
I wish he could have told us about the world he saw. There's so much I don't understand about Gregory, about everything. But I know what happened wasn't your fault. I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy too. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
I'm pretty sure y'all can put together what happened in that one. And why I did not like that story.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
Alright, we'll go a little bit longer.
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, "We don't need a stepmom," were the words that I
now
remember.
pronounce you husband and wife. Make him cry.
I'm looking for the words, hold on. Oh, they're there. Okay, sorry. Found them.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined and as a sign held up his middle finger.
Oof.
The wind picked up and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent. The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder."
I'm just trying to make sure I got everything.
wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't, until we found you. She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
That sucks. I mean, I know he's being a pain, but that just sucks.
My mom moved up to the loft
Yay,
after
more
her brothers
climbing.
died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
Sorry, we were loading. So Dawn's
Religion
from
was
Mom's.
another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died. She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Okay, so Sanjay was the dad. There was the dad. Can't go out that one. Wait, was it up there, or where was it that you leave? I think it was up there. Hold on. Climb back up. I don't. Yeah, it was up here. Okay. I just missed it. That was my bad.
My mom
Sorry.
moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Lewis was born a year later. When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. And to see kids in the house again.
You can tell everyone's personality. Edith has little people in her plants. He was building because he was being creative. And then he was actually working. Dawn was working on hers.
The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
Lewis, Edith.
But it
This is
didn't
what Mom
last.
taught him.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
How much more of this game do I have, actually? So we might just do it all in one go. Let's see, how many stories do we have left? Lewis, Milton. Looks like just Lewis and Milton, actually. You know what? I think we'll do this all in one go. Lewis and Milton shouldn't take too long.
After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
Thank you for making those noticeable on the colors. It's a castle door. Oh, that's cool.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
The door that was downstairs. That's where he went. Alright, down we go.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared. Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors. Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
We're going up.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery. Everyone always told me to stay out of Lewis's room. Except Lewis.
Oh, sorry. I moved the joystick the wrong direction. Apparently that was also the wrong direction. Give me 1 minute. There we go.
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery. But he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander. I asked him to describe it. He said he started small.
This is hard to do. I gotta control the little guy with the joystick, and I gotta control him with
Imagining
the
a labyrinth.
other joystick.
He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads.
That looks like a weird dragon, not a toad or a bat. Hold on a second. There we go. Maybe I didn't go that way.
And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. but he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself.
This is hard to do.
But
It's
he
just,
found
you gotta
something
keep
more.
an eye on both. Once you get a rhythm, you get it.
I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused.
He wasn't focused, he was daydreaming.
Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on.
That probably wasn't a good
I
idea.
even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend.
He got a puppy?
On the edge of a
Alright,
city
I semi
named
like where it's
Lewis Tokyo. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians.
I just care about the dog.
And songs for
Sorry, I
him
got
to play.
stuck.
He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished.
Oh,
He held an
I forgot to finish,
election
hold
for
on.
mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality.
Sorry, I'm trying to concentrate on not crashing the boat.
Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery.
Guys. Sorry, I'm back. My dog saw squirrels again. My doggo saw squirrels again.
Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on.
There she is, Dawn. That was Dawn, Edith and Lewis's mom. And Milton. Can't forget Milton.
In Lewisburg, he heard rumors of a
Look at Queen.
handsome queen.
Because I don't know.
The Queen was on her own quest for...
Let's go with Sinister
Sinister
Serpents, because why not? This is hard to control.
He followed the sound of her.
Let's go with Harp.
Silver harp.
This is hard to control. I can only use one joystick and a trigger for the fish, and then I gotta move him with a joystick.
His chase led
but I
him
gotta
to
pay
a
attention
golden
both.
palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination.
Quit with all the freaking fishes, I'm trying.
But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace.
Oh no. He lost it, didn't he?
My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him. He began to forget the world we know.
This is not good.
I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
I don't seem to work when you turn.
He began to despise the
I
man with a
remember.
royal contempt.
Finch. That's Lewis. That's what I was doing, but he's doing nothing.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder.
Oh no.
The palace would be packed with his companions.
I can't walk back.
Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on inviting him.
Calico? Is taking advice from a cat? Or is that the wrong type of calico that I'm thinking of? I think it is.
His queen waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do.
Oh no. He's not becoming king. He's getting his head chopped off.
Bend down his head.
He was working to have his head chopped off.
And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
As I said, these stories get pretty gruesome.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left.
This is where her and her mom stayed.
What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner. But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night. That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
Oh, no.
the power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
I didn't realize this opened.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning, okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That
I don't
night,
remember this one.
The tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around. I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed.
Alright, so I am heading in the right direction.
But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone.
Oh, that sucks.
After that, we moved around a lot.
This is a thing I
We
still
both tried to
actually
make the
do
best
in
of
the
it.
car.
A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
I'm guessing when the baby's being born.
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Oh, crap. She had a son. Wait, who does he live with then? If she's dead. And there we have it. That's cool that this was made for someone. Alrighty, and there we have it. We have finished the game all in one go, so I guess I need to take off the part 1 off this title then. Alright. I think it is time to go see if anybody is streaming. Tofu he's playing Silent Hill right now. Alright, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go see Tofu play some Silent Hill. He looks like he's having a good time. I hope everybody has a good day, and I hope y'all take care of yourselves. I will see you all later in the next video or stream. Can you guys catch me on Twitch or YouTube? Like I said earlier, I'm gonna say it again. I've seen people keep coming in and out. I'm going to be streaming on Saturday, and I'm gonna be streaming with a bunch of friends for my birthday. It's gonna be my birthday stream. It's gonna be about a week early for my birthday, 'cause I'm gonna be hanging out with my family and stuff on my birthday. So I hope to see you all there, and I hope everybody has a good day. Bye guys, and thank you all for joining in on the stream. Let's see.